Boxing King Media, powered by BYD. It's the first one of the new season with Gareth A. Davies. Is it fair to say new season? Because it kind of is, isn't it? It's been, what, a month since we've done anything in the boxing world.
Yeah, absolutely fine. I mean, I haven't stopped, but I think it's a new season. Yeah, I think it's fine to call it a new season.
What does Gareth A. Davies get up to in the summer holidays?
Well, I've been working all summer. I mean, I went to Palermo in Italy, in Sicily. I went to Washington to an MMA event. I went to Los Angeles. I think you were there as well.
Yeah.
I've just been to Paris for 2 weeks, the Paralympic Games. So it's been a fairly busy summer because obviously I've got MMA. I mean, every 4 years I do the Paralympics. I've been doing it since 1996. It's my eighth Paralympic Games. I think it's just something I support and cover journalistically. I like the disability sport movement. I think it's very important, and I've always lent my pen to it, if you like. And it was brilliant to be there. So many incredible athletes from around the world, all with amazing stories, and all at the forefront of their own physicality. Really enjoyed it. And Paris was a brilliant setting for it.
I bet it was. Yeah, we did a Zoom, didn't we, whilst you was in Paris, actually. I forgot about that one.
Did
Uh,
we?
Yeah, we did. You was in some hotel down an alley, I think, from what I can remember. Yeah.
Oh, we did do one. Okay. I thought you
Yeah.
were. Yeah, I think you were. Where were you in?
I was
Do-
somewhere abroad, but I remember reading a comment in the comment section that somebody was taking the piss out about you being in a dark alley. That's what I,
Mm. You made a lot of that.
yeah. So so yeah, boxing. I'm trying to think, where should we start? I want to start with something Johnny Nelson told me last week. It's a bit of an interesting one. He reckons there is such a thing as silent bans, and he reckons he knows fighters that have been on silent bans, and these things apparently never come out. And it's an agreement between the board and the fighter, and they just kept hush hush. Have you ever heard of anything like that?
Who are we talking about?
He didn't mention any names. He didn't mention no
Okay.
names. He said he knows fighters in his time that had been on him, and he reckons he knows somebody that or fighters that have been on him in this era as well.
Yeah, I think they have been. Yeah, I agree with him. I
Do
do
you think?
agree with him. I think the deals are made sometimes, um, and I think that is a distinct possibility. I'm not sure who he's referring to, um, but I do think there are people who do a deal with the board. But I think that deal is done based on um, their own privacy around issues. And they accept the ban, and I think the board probably accept what those people have told them. You
Okay.
know,
Do you think in them
it's not
situations?
their duty. It's not their necessarily the board's duty to put out a press release to the media that there's a suspension, but maybe they should. Maybe there should be a duty to do it.
What is the right and wrong in that? What do you think? Should they do it? Should it be made public? Because obviously
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I do. I do think it should be made public, but we don't know the whys and wherefores of the particular circumstances. So, when if it involves someone's medical health or something that's been kind of misconstrued, or maybe a test has shown up and they've proven that they were not at fault, um, and the board have accepted that, then maybe there's no need to make it public. There's loads of potential scenarios, but obviously you'd prefer it to be made public. But if the board believes their case, but they've erred purely based on a mistake, then that's up to the board and the boxer or whoever it is in that circumstance. Can you hear that noise going off or not?
no.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting one, and then the other thing I want to speak about, it's because it's recent, so I'll jump on this. Is the big fight announced? Adam Azim versus Ohara Davies. I don't know if you saw that one coming. I certainly didn't. I don't think many people did.
I don't think it's a particularly big fight compared to what we've got coming up. I mean,
I'm going to
it's a
come
big.
to the big fights, but because it was recent news, I thought I'd just start with that one.
I don't know. Well, it's a good announcement. I really like the matchup. I think it's a good test for for Adam Azim. I think it's one he's capable of at this stage in his career. You know, Ohara Davies is an experienced professional now. He hasn't always had things his own way. Sometimes he's made a rob for his own back. But I think it's a really good fight. It's one I will definitely want to be at. It's a good test for Adam Azim. It's the right time.
Is it a harder fight than Harlem Eubank and potentially Dalton Smith? Because I was looking at resumes. O'Hara's never shown any signs that he's finished or he's done. He
Oh,
got caught cold against Barossa last
yeah,
year.
he did. He did get caught cold by Barroso, and it was a pity for him in a very high-profile fight. But um, I think Dalton Smith would be a harder fight, in my view. Who was the other person you mentioned?
Harlem Eubank, the one he was supposed to fight.
Harlem has boxed brilliantly recently. You know, they wanted to put who was the other opponent they were looking for Harlem in against?
I'm not sure.
Was it Conor Ben they were after?
For Harlem, oh yes, they were
They were
for
after they were after Conor Ben for a while. Chris Eubank Senior spent a morning with a few of us pushing that fight. That's a good matchup. Harlem Eubank's got to be on his very best dancing, boxing skill set to match either Conor Ben or Adam Azim. I like Adam Azim against Conor Ben, if that's doable. If it's doable, maybe doable one day. But Ohara Davies is a good test for him right now in his career. What is he, 12-0? Adam?
Adam Azim, yes, 11 or 12 or one of the two.
Yeah, 11 or 12-0. It's the right time for that kind of test. As the sun streams in through my giant windows behind me, by the way.
It is. It's a nice
The,
effect. It looks
the
like you're
answer is yes.
okay. It looks like you're sat in France. I don't know why. It's like you're still in France, with them big arched windows behind you. Big card.
Listening to Vanessa Paradis and Joe Taxi, yeah, that's way before your time, isn't it?
It probably is. Next week, Gareth, we're literally days away from a humongous fight week. It's worth mentioning Gold Star have got a huge event happening. I'm just going to plug it. It's happening on the day of the fight. It's at the Box Park, and I think it starts at 12 p.m. till 6. So before the fight's at Wembley Stadium, you can go across to Box Park, and they've got Ricky Hatton, Joe Calzaghe, Chisora, Kell Brook, Amir Khan, and I believe there's some more names that are going to be there. It's like a meet and greet, up close and personal with all these stars. Tickets, you can get them on the Gold Star website. So I'm guessing you're going to be there, Gareth.
Yeah, well, I'll be there certainly from midday that day. I mean, it's one of those events you've got to get early to. I think we kick off around 4 o'clock. Um, I don't know if that's been made official yet. I think it starts around 4 o'clock, and obviously it's a fight an hour. We've got 7 fights. It's going to be an amazing occasion. I mean, I remember being at a press briefing with His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh, where he said he wanted to create a fan experience. I'm glad Gold Star are doing that. You talk about five resonant characters there, 5 or 6 resonant characters from British sports. It'll be a great afternoon. I'd love to go along and see the guys, pick their brains on what's going to happen in the fight. I will certainly be there for a little bit of lunch. Um, it's a massive fight week, mainly because there's on several levels. First Riyadh season card in the UK, going to break attendance records at Wembley Stadium, which is an amazing arena, a cauldron for big boxing events. We've had 4 or 5 of them there in the last decade. Um, it's a brilliant stacked undercard, and there is so much riding on the careers of both Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois in the main event. And we may get a sense, Boxing King Media, through the week next week on who's handling it best. I mean, I think Joshua, having fought there, what's he fought there 3 times already? And twice in Cardiff, once at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. He's had some big stadium fights in the last 10 years, 8 years of his career. You expect he's going to handle a big occasion a bit better. But there's going to be a lot more demands on Daniel Dubois than he's ever felt before, I think. It's a home event, London event, a lot of pressure on both men. But how they are during the week is going to really, really matter.
Do you think Daniel's potentially? I know he did that fight with Usyk in Poland. That was quite a big stadium as well. The fear factor in
There's
this,
no pressure on him in that fight.
there's no pressure, is there? Because
There
people
wasn't.
expect him
There
to.
wasn't then. There
I mean,
wasn't for that.
even now, like,
No, I think there's a bit more pressure on him now. I think
who's under more pressure, AJ or Dubois?
Probably AJ, but he's not going to be looking beyond this at the fight with Tyson Fury. You can't do that in boxing. We all discuss it. And people mistook what I was saying the other day on Talk Sport as we got two semi-finals for Fury and Joshua to fight. And what I mean is, obviously, Usyk is the number one right now. There's no question about that. But they are like two semi-finals if we are to get this mammoth event next year, which we may not even get between Fury and Joshua. And the danger in talking about it is our level of expectation is propelled onto Anthony Joshua, but he won't be looking beyond Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois brings genuine threats. He's a dangerous puncher. It's going to be a battle of the jab and who can land the right hand for me. It's going to be a battle for space in the ring, a battle for the center of the ring. Neither guy is going to want to fight off the back foot in this fight. Neither of them are kind of amazing counter punchers, even though it may be a counter punch that ends this fight, believe it or not. Like a left hook from Joshua or an uppercut from Joshua or the hooks of Daniel Dubois or a right hand counter from Daniel Dubois. There's danger for both of them in this fight. And they both had a very good last year. I mean, it's extraordinary to think last August, 13 months ago, Daniel Dubois was fighting Alexander Usyk in Wroclaw. And obviously we were there, weren't we? So
but
where are the questions today, by the way?
To be fair, the ones I saw from the last interview, they might be a little bit inappropriate.
Okay, well, let's not go there then.
There's one that's borderline.
No, let's not even do borderline today. Like that low blow that Daniel Dubois threw against Alexander Usyk, that I
I
will
don't think this one's
constantly
that bad.
forever argue with Frank Warren about.
Somebody said something about you being in Paris because it's the closest you're going to be to becoming Paris Fury. I thought it was quite funny.
That's just a terrible Paris pun, isn't it?
It is, it is. Um, so you said about the pressure, but who can't afford to lose this fight? Because Dubois lost before, they both lost before, but who can't afford to lose now?
Well, I mean, it's a tougher loss for Anthony Joshua than it is for Dubois. But having said that, the momentum that Dubois has created means it is a big slide down the snake for him if he does lose this fight. So, but as we're saying, our expectation levels of getting Joshua and Fury next year is huge, as is Joshua's expectation. And Eddie Hearn's speaking for him a lot here at the moment in the fact that he's saying that Joshua is really driven to be a three-time heavyweight champion of the world. Now, we know the belt really is a belt was relinquished by Usyk, that he would have been stripped of anyway, the IBF crown. And unfortunately, this is the way boxing works, in that fighters don't hold on to the belts for very long because they don't defend them with enough alacrity to be able to keep all the belts. So I think the loss for Joshua is worse at this point because again, and if he does lose to Dubois, people will say, yeah, but he only beat Otto Wallin, Robert Helenius, and Francis Ngannou his last three fights. So, and if you go back before that, Jermaine Franklin, who really isn't of the same stock in terms of the elite level that he belongs to in the heavyweight division. So it's going to be catastrophic in more ways for Joshua than it is for Daniel Dubois. He's also a lot younger and come back from it again, as he has proven in the past.
What do you make of the video that Ben Davison put out of AJ throwing them left hooks? I know you mentioned a left hook counter earlier. I don't know if you said it because of that. Because we saw in the build up to the Ngannou fight, they released a video of AJ kind of almost practicing that counter right hand. Is this mind games? Is this psychology to try and plant a seed in Daniel Dubois' head? Because it was quite a specific video showing him repetitively throwing a double left hook.
Yeah, well, that's a great punch against Dubois anyway. If he can make him miss and throw that left hook, it's a terrific punch for him. And he throws it so well. He's so effective with it. Yeah, it could be mind games, but, you know, he'll have a very tight defense and a long jab to begin with as well. I'm sure it'll be a battle of the jab early. I don't think it'll go 12 rounds. I see it 6, 7, 8 round fight. And at the moment, I'm picking Anthony Joshua to win by stoppage based on form, experience, and the fact that when his head is right, he's very strong. I don't know if they're both going to be able to take each other's punches like Dubois and Hrgovic took each other's punches in that fight. I cannot see. I mean, Wembley's going to be an uproar if they're landing punches like that because it isn't going to last 5 rounds if that's the case. I think they'll both be much more guarded in the opening couple of rounds. I think the phony war will be over after 6 minutes, and we'll see a real war going into the third round because they'll have to work each other out. What I like about Joshua under Ben Davison and Lee Wiley, the strategist, is they'll have worked out all the holes in Dubois' game, and they will have given Joshua plan A, B, C, and D. Equally, Don Charles will have been pressing Dubois to get inside against Joshua and let his hands go, because if he lands flush, he's going to really hurt Joshua. I mean, we may see both men get up in this fight from the floor and fight on and fight to the death, if you like, in boxing terms. It's a very thrilling prospect. Both are dangerous fighters. They're not shy men with their fists. Joshua not anymore anyway. The gun shyness has gone. As I say, I said to you 10 minutes ago, we are set for an amazing spectacle, I think. Cannot see a 12-round ball fest. Can you?
Definitely not. Did you make much of Daniel Dubois' interview that he did? You know, one of the quotes I picked up from that, the one he did with Dev, where he said, "If you want respect, go and become a lawyer or a doctor." What do you take from that kind of mind frame? It seems like he's not showing any respect. He's basically just seeing Anthony Joshua as just another opponent, and he's looking to like, you know, what I mean. Like I think the respect AJ's wanting or commanding from him, I don't think Daniel's going to give it to him
Oh,
from.
he doesn't need to, and nor should he. I mean, as he said, I've always had Anthony Joshua as a target. He had Anthony Joshua as a target 10 years ago when he was just developing as a young fighter. As he said, he wants to be the Kingslayer. He sees Joshua as one of the kings. It's a massive test for him. If he knocks out Anthony Joshua, he will probably, if Usyk beats Fury, he will get the rematch, and maybe we'll get Fury and Joshua as losers, although the stock in that fight falls enormously if both Fury and Joshua lose. No, I like Dubois' attitude in this and towards us. I like the fact that he was winding Joshua up in that back room when they were filming the day we went to the big London launch press conference. I like the way Joshua handled it as well, as if to say, hang on, little brother, just calm down over there. I'm going to put a chair over you. And, you know, he was espousing violence. And that's what we want. That's what gets us excited. These are heavyweights. It's about knockouts. The heavyweight division stands alone in that sense. You know yourself, when you're ringside, and I've said it countless times, and I'll say it to any sports fans watching this or listening to this. Are you on Spotify as well? Well, you bloody ought to be. Any sports fans watching this, get yourself near ringside for a big heavyweight title fight, because there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. When huge punches miss, you feel the whoosh, you feel the energy. As I say, and so both men have been very impressive in the build-up. That's why a week from now, if you put this out today, we're gonna be in for a very special week between these two guys. I mean, I haven't watched the full Gloves Are Off yet with the pair of them because I've been busy in Paris for 2 weeks. I'm not sure it's out yet, is it?
It is. It is. It came out a
Yeah,
few
I
days.
shall watch it tonight. Then I've only got back today, and I've been incredibly busy. You know, literally working 14 hours a day on the Paralympics, and it's the energy between the two men indicates for me that neither is going to acquiesce, neither is going to yield to the other. They're going to hold true to themselves all the way to the fight night. That's why I'm fascinated with you.
Give me one fight on the undercard that you're most excited about.
I nearly said Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clark there, but that's obviously on October the 12th. Um, well, anything involving Hamza Shiraz at the moment is fascinating. Tyler Denny's on a stir, but on a tear. But I just think we might see levels in this fight, you know, and Hamza might be too big, too long, too strong for Tyler. Although he's a guy not to write off. I know we've got Kakache and Warrington. I think Kakache
I
wins
think
that.
the ones that stick out are obviously Buatsi, Willie
Oh
Hutchinson.
yeah, I think
Uh,
that's a really good fight. I think that's a really good fight, a really good test for Hutchinson against Boatsi. And I've got the feeling it'll bring out the best in Boatsi. But if he is really not at his best, Hutchinson is a tricky customer. But Boatsi isn't Craig Richards, so it's a step up in my view. It's another step up for Hutchinson. It's a fascinating fight. Trying to think of the others.
we'll have more time to talk about the actual fights next week. But the last thing I want to ask you, Gareth, on the whole show and the event, I know there's gonna be a lot of surprises that are going to be dropping on fans during the fight week, and things may happen in random locations around London. But is there anything that you're aware of? You want to hint at to everyone what they can look forward to?
I don't know because I'm not in the loop at the moment. I haven't got into it yet. I've literally just got back. Well, you obviously know more than I do right now, so maybe you can throw the odd thing at me and you can tease us all.
Just hearing that there may be events happening in prominent London locations to publicize the event. Basically, that's it, really.
Well, we're always gonna get that with Saudi Arabians because they go bigger and stronger and faster and higher and deeper and more thought out than anyone else. I mean, I'd love to see Liam and Noel come live together for Oasis on the night, and then interview Noel ringside for Talk Sports, as I have done before, because he's a big fight fan. Because if he plays in the concert, he'll definitely end up ringside because he loves a bit of boxing. Top man he is. It's bugging me that I can't remember the rest of the card, by the way.
It's all right. We'll have plenty of time because, like I said, you've been at the loop, and everyone's kind of been at the loop, and we're going to be back in the mix next week when the new boxing season starts again. So that's it, really, Gareth. I think we'll have a little sit down chin wag at the fight week next week. I'm
Definitely.
sure we'll do this two or
Let's
three.
do it early. Do it early in the week.
We'll do a few of these in person next week. And if anyone's got any questions for Gareth, try and make sure they're not too sleazy, so we can at least ask them on here, and then we'll take it from there.
Always
Gareth,
a pleasure, my brother.
thank you very much.